الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له الملك الحق المبين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد ولد آدم أجمعين صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين على مر الأيام والليالي والشهور والسنين أما بعد. As we start this particular reminder lecture on October the 15th, I think today is October the 15th, 13th, I don't know, maybe it's because of my hearing. October the 13th, 2019, 2019, 6:05 p.m., which coincides on the Hijri calendar, the 14th of Safar, I think it says, the 14th of the month of Safar, the year 1441, after the Hijrah Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam. And this topic, which is, if a person would contemplate on it, is very vast. It's not simplistic as some people would think. They think the topic is just restricted to one affair, where a person is very meticulous of who he chooses as a companion or a close friend. This topic is considered an asl, considered an origin and a pillar or foundation from the khisal of Ahl Sunnah, from the characteristics that one has to fulfill in order to be considered Sunni Salafi. For a person that truly traverses the correct path of Allah Ta'ala, being firm upon what is correct in one's conviction and in one's methodology, then one has to consider that this matter which we're speaking about is from the khisal of the Sunnah, from the characteristics of one considered to be Sunni Salafi. In these days and times, people are very lax in this matter of who they choose as a companion or friend. People think friends are just those who are pertaining to who, for the most part, that you might deal with on a daily basis from the same gender. For example, men intermingling with men, or women intermingling with women, and the likes of that. However, the affair is more deep than that. It's more deep than that. The affair is way more deep than what one would think. There's this word, as-suhba or husn as-suhba, or what they call bitanat as-su or bitanat al-khair or julasa ahl al-salah, or if you want to call it al-khulla, or taking one as something that's close, for what have you, in regards to friends or people who you love. It starts with the household. As the closest to one will start with his household, with his family, or who he chooses as a spouse. A lot of people think it's just your friend who you hang with, who's someone who knows certain intricate things about you. That's a close friend or what have you. But starting off is what one would choose as a spouse or ideal spouse. That's what the affair of suhbah, of choosing one as your companion or close friend, would start with. And these are things that we are very laxed in. We are very laxed in choosing or knowing that our friend starts with our house, or who we deal with domestically, meaning with our family. When we're choosing an ideal spouse for our relationship with, because that is going to be someone who's going to affect you. Your wife will have an effect on you, and the husband will have an effect on the wife. So it starts there. So a lot of people say, oh, it's just good friends. Yeah, you just look out for good friends, but you're not really knowing that how to choose an ideal wife or spouse is part of this affair which we're speaking about, which is having good relationships as far as with who you choose as a friend. Starts with the wife. And a lot of people are lax in choosing a partner or ideal spouse. Very lax in this matter, especially with the men and the women. For example, of what one chooses, for starting with the women, and then I'll go back to the men. The women, when they choose, look for a husband. When a woman they look for a husband, when a woman looks for a husband, usually you'll find that they look for two things, or maybe three, if you want to say roughly. They'll start with, okay, does he have a job? Does he have a good job, or does he have some type of income? Okay. Then they want to see how he looks. See if he looks good, if he's appealing as far as how he looks. And then he comes with to sit down with a nice, embellished, decorated speech a little bit to get in the woman's head. Because every man knows how to get in, the majority of people and brothers who know how to get in a woman's head easy. And I'm sure that people know how to do that, and men know how to do that very well. Then, because all you have to do is cater to a woman's emotions and certain affairs, got you. And that's how Allah created them. Created them with that type of, that craving for an attention, because that's how Allah created them. To want that attention from a man. For it could be satisfying for them. The problem is, like we said, they don't go beyond this. Like I noticed, there's only been a couple of sisters that probably since I've been the imam of the masjid who have actually asked me questions. Does he come to class? Do you see him in the masjid? Who does he hang around with? Who does he hang around with? No, I have not yet to have any sister ask me that. Except maybe 2 or 3 within 15 to 20 years. And then you get what you get. Then you get married, there's a bunch of problems. And one of the things is like we just mentioned, this is what you have to examine, you have to ask. And there's been sisters that have asked me questions in a letter. They have sent a letter, does he come to class? Do you see him in class? Does he come to the masjid? Who does he hang around with? Who's his friends? Who is he around? All a man have to do, come to the masjid, he got a job, khalas, he wears a thobe, khalas, and he looks good, I'm sold. Done deal. The same thing with the brothers, same exact thing. Brothers, you choosing a good companion or a good friend starts with who you choose ideally as a spouse. Because that's your friend. You got to realize relationships start with your wife or the wife with the husband, and it starts with suhbah. Good companionship starts with that, because your wife is going to have some type of effect on you, and like we said, the husband is going to have some type of effect on the wife. It's going to happen. La mahala. It has to take place. And you'll find over the course of history that men have been affected by women and women have been affected by men, either directly or indirectly. Same thing with the men. You'll find that brothers, they're looking for a wife. You hear, okay, she covers well, she comes to the masjid, and you'll ask, for example, okay, now you want to see what she looks like, see if she's physically appealing or your cup of tea or what have you. But none of the brothers ever ask, who are your friends? Who do you hang around? Who? What's their names? Don't say, I know some sisters. No. Name them. Who are they? Don't keep it vague. What sisters? What's their names? Give me some names. These things you have to investigate, because this starts with, ideally, who's going to be your sahib? Who's going to be your companion in the household? Because that's where it's going to start. That's where it starts at. Then there's a lot of things, like I said, in this topic that I really don't have time to speak on. I mean, this thing is very vast of how I looked and just contemplated of how vast this topic is. It is. A lot of people think, it's just husnul sahbah. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Then after the household, after you establish that of who you choose as a friend, who's ideally your spouse, then the friendship that you may have, A lot of people, their concept of friendship is warped these days. Even though a lot of us hear the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ, but I don't know if we're truly grasping the concept and knowing how to apply it correctly, a lot of us. Because I really sometimes think that people don't comprehend or they don't know how to apply what they hear. They just hear it and they go about their day. Then you still see how they still lacks in this matter of what we're speaking about. Because realizing what friendship is, or so-called, as we call it, companionship and friendship, people's mentality have to realize what the concept is. The concept is stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's stepping outside your comfort zone. A true friend is not going to tell you everything you want to hear. We live in days and times that we are weak. We always want to hear what satisfies us. We're very skeptical about hearing criticism. Whether it be from our wife or from the husband, from the wife, or the wife from the husband. And what we do is we play this narcissistic mind game on people to try to make it look like it's all you. I didn't do anything wrong. What they call psychologically being a narcissist, which is to make a mind game with people, putting the blame on you, and I didn't do anything wrong. It's all you. I don't have to apologize. Not realizing, like we said, brothers and sisters, friendship is stepping outside of your comfort zone. Stepping outside your comfort zone. Seeking a reward with Allah with the Alaf by increasing the sisterhood and brotherhood. And sometimes we should be that friend that drives everyone home so they can save bus fare, for example. Just for example. Having a forgiving heart, because we've been cultivated in this country to hold grudges for a long time. We'll hold grudges for 5 years, 10 years. We might not treat a person the same for 20 years. We might not even treat a person the same until they die. We've been cultivated on that mentality to hold grudges. We always got something in our chest for something or something, someone or something. Having a forgiving heart, we hold grudges and we won't forgive our friends. And like I said, everyone, realizing that your friend is someone who's going to sometimes step out the comfort zone with you. They're going to really tell you of things they don't agree with that you truly might become upset with sometimes. It happens. That's not good when you have a friend that agrees with everything you do and say. And you should be prepared for the type of criticism that they're going to give you, because it's all out of love, especially for those who's close to us, starting with our wives and starting with our husbands, with the women with regards to their husbands. They're not going to tell you and make you feel good all the time. That's not life. Ideally, that's not true life. To always be in a comfort zone all throughout life. That doesn't exist. You have to be willing to accept what the person is going to give you of true advice, even though it might sometimes be hurtful and it might sometimes hurt your feelings. Has there ever been a relationship with someone who truly raised you from your mother and father, that they always tried to make you feel good all the time? Or sometimes they took time to discipline you? Did that show that they really hated you? Or that they had something in their chest for you? No. But like we said, we live in days and times, people are just extremely weak and sensitive. Where people during the past were not like this. They were well receiving of criticism and they were willing to hear it. And they were ready to reciprocate it in a positive manner. Without playing blameworthy. No, you saying that about me. Well, what about you? You do it too. That's our attitude. You do it too. You talk about me? Me? Well, what about when you did such a... That's the problem. That's the reaction that we give. Or if one gives us, and we know that a person truly loves us, whether it be from our wives and our wives or the wives with their husbands, either we'll try to take the blame off of us and try to put it on them and say that's all you and throw mud back at them. Or what we'll do is we'll mudsling, of course. That's another thing. We'll try to go back and forth mudslinging and trying to find some type of shortcoming in them and throwing it back at them. As that's what a lot of us do. Or you'll find that the person who's supposed to be giving the advice, if you truly know that person is sincere and loving you and knowing you very well, you'll think in your mind that they're jealous of you. That's the thing that shaitan will do. Oh, you just jealous. Especially here in America, a lot of us think that the people are jealous over sins. I have oldest girlfriends. You know, I'm doing here and I'm going there. Oh, he just want to do what I do. That's our mind frame. That's our mindset. No, he's just jealous. Or, on the other side of the fence, in regards to the person that's giving advice, because I'm coming from both angles. Don't think, brothers and sisters, I know the tricks of the trade of everyone. You'll find that there are people, shaitan will put in the mind of the person on the other side, that the one, and I'm keeping in mind what I'm saying, contemplate, the person who truly loves you. You know they've been there with you for years. I'm not talking about someone that you don't know. And they're just coming out of the woodworks and they saying, Akhi, you know, where did you get that car from? You know, how did you purchase that car? I'm not talking about that. Just listen. I'm talking about a person that's been friends with you for years, has constantly been with you for years through thick and thin. You know where they're coming from is a good space. So why would you say out of your mouth, oh, you jealous? Why would I be jealous and I've been your friend for 10 years, 15 years? What makes me jealous of you now? What would make me jealous now? For me giving you advice. Oh, he's just jealous. He just want to do what I'm doing. Pfft. I got this car now. They just want this car because they doing bad. That's our mind frame. Or now I'm going to go from the opposite side. Now I'm going to jump to the opposite side of the spectrum. Now you truly do have people out there that truly might be. That sickness of jealousy might be there. But I'm not talking about the person who's been friends with you for years. I'm not talking about them. Somebody might just come out of nowhere. Yeah, akhi, where you get that car from? First of all, I'll say none of your business. I don't have to tell you where I get my car from or where I get my dunya from. People have to say that. And brothers need to respect. If a person is not telling you where they get something from, it's not upon you to start now looking for it, investigating it. You can't do that to people. Where you get that car from? How you get them shoes? I don't see you never wearing those shoes like that before. So I'm coming from both angles. You understand where I'm coming from, brothers and sisters? From the aspect of what a person might think. One is jealous. First of all, why would you think, even if the person is telling you you're doing something sinful, you should realize ultimately what they're saying is right. Why would I want to be jealous over major sins you committed? Committed major sins. I'm jealous? Oh, you just want to have girlfriends like me. You just want to have girls in my inboxes and my DMs and social media like me. You just want to be, you jealous. I'm jealous over major sins. Major sins. We're not talking about minor sins, major sins. Then you have the opposite. You have the people out there that want to investigate. Man, how you buy that car? Where you get that from? You purchased that on Reba? And I was saying none of your business. Brothers and sisters, when I see a person, if Allah has blessed them with something of some dunya, I'm not investigating. The origin is not to investigate. You're prying. You cannot do that to people. You can't ask them, how you buy this house? Where is this house? You renting it or what you got, a mortgage? What you got that on? This a car note? What you got this? Now, if a person tells you, because I want advice, like, I bought this house. I don't know if I fell in the haram. Can you explain to me what happened? Now, that's something different. Because they opened up to you. So now you know what's going on. Before that, it's not for you now to pry and look and try to find what so-and-so. Now that will think in your mind that you have a sickness. There's a sickness. There's a potential sickness in your heart. Well, why are you asking? So these affairs, you have to be very careful, like we said, brothers and sisters, because, like I said, it is some of the affairs like we're talking about. It is relative to what the topic is as far as friendship and choosing friends, no doubt. Choosing friends, you have to realize a true friend is never going to agree with everything you do. Keep that in your mind. A true friend. And if you have a true friend that's always agreeing with everything you do, you need to get rid of him or her. Because they're setting you up for the kill. They're setting you up for failure. A true friend is never going to just agree with you all the time. Oh, yeah, you the man. Yeah. Yeah, man. A'udhu billah, man. You know how these women are, man. No, brother. Sometimes you need to tell your brothers, Brother, Akhi, you've been married about 20 times. Don't you think you need to chill out? And you got about 20 kids from 20 different women. It's about time you need to chill out. No, what we'll do, we'll keep marrying our friend off, marrying them off more, marrying them off more, marrying them off more. No, that's my man. We cool. That's my man. That's my man. Your man is out of line. You need to put him in his place. All right, come on, man. You've been married 15, 20, 30, 40 times, huh? What's wrong with you? You need to tell him, no, that's my man, that's my man, that's my man. And then some of them are girlfriends on the side too, and you know it. You need to tell him. Don't keep going along with it all the time. That's my man. That's just how us men do. That's how us men do. It's women, the same thing. Sister, oh man, yeah, you know how these men are out here. These men, they just dogs. They just dog the women. But sister, you've been married 10 times, 8 times, 7 times. You really think it was all, you don't need to tell the sister straight up, sister, you really think it was all you? You was just this innocent bystander that was just transgressed upon? You didn't do anything wrong? Nothing? Not one thing? You was just that girl. You just did everything right for you to be married 7 times by 7 different men. Or 5 times by 5 different men. That all go to the same masjid. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm asking, we have to call ourselves out. This is how we choose our friends. You want to know about suhbah? This is it. We want to talk about having a good friend and choosing them and knowing who they are and how to be very meticulous in these matters. This is what we're discussing. We have to be raw and stop giving these topics to make everybody feel good. We're not ikhwanis. We're salafis. We call each other out and we pat each other on the back when we're doing right, and we call each other out when we're doing wrong. That's how we are. That's how the Prophet ﷺ was when he gave the da'wah to the people, until the people became the best of creation. He told them when they were right, and when they were doing wrong, he corrected them, criticized them, so they became better. This is how a person progresses in himself, as a man, as a woman, in a religion, and even in their worldly affairs. This is how you get better. So choosing a person, it's time for you then already. Did it just come in? It did? They called it? The adhan is in? Or the salah is in? You call from here, man. He's calling it. Oh, 1 more minute, Samir? 1 more minute? What you say, Amir? We'll just wait till the 1 minute and then just call it. Amir gonna call. Oh, you are. Yeah, so this is what we're stopping. You have to realize in the history, notice why you'll find, and I'm going back to the initial topic, talking about a woman for the husband, how a man could affect a woman, of course, because we know the origin, the asl, of course, of why the man can marry a woman from the book, even though I'm not on that position of these days and times, at all, that a man cannot marry a woman of the book of these days, even though, like I said. But the reason, the origin, the point of why I'm mentioning this is because how a man can influence a woman and have some type of influence on her. That's one of the reasons why, if we were ideally in a country where a person could do this, because the man has an impact over how a woman how she conducts herself in certain ways. Similar to that, the woman can have an impact on a man. Due to the fact you'll find, as we'll go in the history of how people from Ahl Sunnah became Khawarij. People from Ahl Sunnah, rather you'll find Abdur ibn Muljam used to be from Ahl Sunnah. What made him kill Ali was a woman. Also Imran ibn Hittan was also from Ahl Sunnah. Now, Imran ibn Hittan was from Ahl Sunnah and Abdur ibn Muljam. What made them become influenced to the point where Abdurrahman ibn Muljam killed Ali, and Imran ibn Hittan made poetry praising Abdurrahman ibn Muljam for what he did? Except that the reason was a woman that influenced him, a beautiful woman that he wanted to marry, and it said her diary for what? If you want to marry me, is to kill and murder Ali ibn Abi Talib. Very beautiful woman, had an influence until he fell into being from the Khawarij. So the point I'm trying, you go to, I'm sorry, تفضل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. حول ولا قوة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آتي محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة وبعثه مقام محمود الذي وعدته. طيب. So this is what I wanted to open the topic with these type of details. But you'll find that the word suhba or ashab or sahib is something that's used in the Quran, and also khalil or akhilla. It's all connected. You'll find that the word in regards to one's wife, to the spouse, it's called the sahiba. Also the children, also considered from those who you have companionship with. A lot of people don't realize that either. So everything starts with the affairs domestically in your household of which you establish. Those are your companions and your friends first. And ultimately, brothers and sisters, the best type of relationship is a person that you know wholeheartedly you can give advice from them and they can get advice from you. And they can steer you in the right direction. And that is all not just sexual gratification, but also they have a brain and they have a mind. They can steer you in the right direction. Because sisters, you have to realize men need mental stimulation. It's not just between their legs, and I'm just being frank. Because that's the problem of what a lot of women think. Men need to have their brain stimulated. They need mental stimulation. They need that because it keeps them straight in this life. So they can stop making bad decisions. And sometimes it does take tough love where you do have to put your foot down. Like, listen, if you make that stupid decision again, I'm leaving you. Even though you know that you truly love him and you want good for him, but you want him to know that this type of decision, I'm not having it anymore. Sometimes you got to put your foot down. You do. Because a lot of us brothers, especially us men in these days at times, we are bullheaded. We're bullheaded people. We make the most stupid decisions. Especially in certain things that we do. We truly do. I'm not the person to exempt myself. I have a strong mind and my wife puts me in my place. And she does it respectfully. She doesn't call me out my name. You done the N word, the B word, the A word, to the end of it. No, she does it respectfully. And sometimes it really hurts, but I know ultimately my wife is coming from a good space. And I know that this is a good companion of mine. Ultimately, I know she is. Because my wife has gotten me out of a lot of jams and dumb decisions I've made. And I'm the first to say that. And I have no problem admitting it, because I am not perfect. Even when I was overseas, when I was sitting with some of the ulama, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide the Mashaykh in Kuwait. Even when I was over in Kuwait, same thing. Abdur Razzaaq, you have good things, you have good points about yourself, you have this, but your point you got to work on, you got to work on that, you got to work on that, you got to work on that. And I said, Jazakallah khairan. Us here in America, someone trying to tell you that, what do you mean I got to work on that? What you mean? No. What about you? Don't you think you got to work on some things? Don't you think you got some shortcomings about you? I'm going to say that to a person who's an alim and a grown man. That's how I'm going to speak to him. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, and I'm going to accept it and know where my strengths are and I know my weaknesses are. And that is something that is very, very, very praiseworthy. For someone to examine where you are, where your strengths lie, and where your weaknesses are. This is how we need to be with each other. We have to. We have no choice. And it starts with our family. So everyone keep in mind, your family starts with your wife, the wife with the spouse, and your children. Your children are your ashab. Your children are your children, and those who you constantly need to be around and have as a companion constantly with you as much as you can. You do. We have to look at our families from that aspect and with that type of look. You have to look at them that they are the origin of your ashab. It's my wife, my kids. And making sure they're straight. And a woman needs to look likewise at your husband. Same thing. My husband, he's my friend. He's my sahib. He's going to have an influence on me. He's going to have an impact on me. He's going to pull me in a positive direction or a bad one. These things, this is how you need to look at your husband. So if this is the case where he's going to lead my family, he's going to lead me, he's going to be the one who I want to be the guardian and protector of my household, I'm going to make sure he's straight. I'm going to make sure he's good. That's where it starts with. Then after that is when you start to now branch off a bit. Now the wife, the husband, the kids, now you go for the friends outside the house. Now that we're going to focus on that part. So going from one thing to another. And there's dua that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ gave speaking about this. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ talked in a tremendous dua that I hope that everyone memorizes. When the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said in an authentic narration, Imam al-Albani declared it to be, I think it's Hasan, where he said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika, Allahumma inni as'aluka, a'udhu bika min jari su, that's it. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min jari su, wa min zawjin tushayyibuni qabl al-mashib, wa min waladin yakuna alayya rabban, wa min malin yakuna alayya adhaban. ومن خليل ماكر عينه تراني وقلبه يرعاني فإن رأى حسنة دفنها وإن رأى سيئة أذاعها. I make this dua every single day. Every day I make this dua. The Prophet ﷺ said, "O Allah, I seek refuge in you from an evil neighbor." Min jari su. Now listen to this part. وَمِن زَوْجٍ تُشَيِّبُنِي قَبْلَ الْمَشِيبِ. That I seek refuge in you from a spouse or a woman that will make me old before I become old. And I think it's applicable for both. It's not just for the woman or the man for the woman. So it says if you also a woman is making dua, "Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you that you give me a husband that will make me old before I become old." That's a dua. من زوج تشيبني قبل المشيب. And I seek refuge in you from a child that will be a lord over me. من ولد يكون علي ربا. That a child that will become a lord over me. You'll find that this narration is comprehensive for numerous meanings. From them is what we see today. How many out there do we find that children how they control the parents? You'll find in certain households, not all households, certain households, you'll find that the child has the mother on a twist. "Oh, I don't want ketchup on my food. No. Okay, I'll take it off. No, I want mustard. No, okay, I'll take that off. No, I don't want that food tonight, Mom. I don't want that. Okay, I won't get you that. What do you want?" Who's the Lord now? Who's running who now? Who's running the household now? Child got you on a twist. Mom, I want a smartphone. I want a smartphone. I want it now. You didn't get it yet. No, we teach our children how to earn things. Earn it. If you earn it, you do what you're supposed to do. As a reward, I'll get it to you. You have to earn it. But listen to the meaning of the hadith. We know that comes in the narration, hadith Jibreel. What the Prophet ﷺ had mentioned and said, of course with the last part of the hadith of Jibreel, I'll just say it for English right quick. Where he said, أَن تَلِدَ الْأَمَةُ رَبَّتَهَا أَن تَلِدَ الْأَمَةُ رَبَّتَهَا, where the concubine will give birth to her own master. أن تَلِدَ الْأَمَةُ رَبَّتَهَا. In another narration, تَلِدَ الْأَمَةُ رَبَّهَا. There's two narrations. Where she will give birth to her own Lord or one who will be over her. There's a lot of meanings for this. From them, as the meanings of it is, they say that, of course, in the times of war, one of the meanings is that the wife will become a concubine or a slave. And the child, of course, she'll give birth to him, and it will be separated unjustly. It'll be separated. And then later on, the son will come back and purchase her mother and free her from being a what? Concubine. So now, what will come as a result of it is what? That the child becomes the Lord over his what? Mother. He becomes the one that's authority, where he came and freed her, liberated her from slavery, or what have you. That's one of the meanings. Another meaning is when the children start telling the parents what to do. And we see these in these days and times. When the parents start, and they'll find that they call that, is you'll find the shurrah al hadith, they say that the meaning of it is uquq al-walidain, where the children become disrespectful to the parents. That's one of the meanings, is that the woman will give birth to her own what? Lord over her, or master over her. They say, some of the commentary of hadith, that they say one of the meanings of this narration is that there will be satantashir uquq al-walidain. There will spread out amongst the people disrespect and dishonor of the parents, where the children will start talking down to the parents, speaking to them disrespectfully, disrespecting them, dishonoring them, not showing them any reverence, respect, just speaking to them in any way. When you see this type of characteristics, this applies to the hadith. So that's another meaning of the hadith. It's disrespect of the parents. How many people have we seen this from parents or children talking to their parents in any type of way, in any shape, form, or fashion? Just speaking to them, and then you turn, you're like, your child speaking to you like that? Oh, he's just young. He's just young. No type of morals, not teaching them that there's boundaries of how to speak to people, how to speak with courtesy, how to say thank you, how to sit, how to listen, how to show adults respect, how to show manners, how to convey what you say without being disrespectful. This all applies to the hadith. Now this is the part in the hadith where it says, وَمِنْ جَارِسُ وَمِنْ زَوْجٍ تُشَيِّبُنِ قَبْلَ الْمَشِيبِ وَمِنْ وَلَدٍ يَكُونَ عَلَيْهِ رَبًّا وَمِنْ مَالٍ يَكُونَ عَلَيْهِ عَذَابًا. And I seek refuge in you from a money or wealth that will be against me a punishment. I don't think I have to get into that one. I think that's clear for people who have sustenance that's haram, whether it be from selling drugs or what have you. This is the part where I mentioned this in the hadith, where it says, وَمِنْ خَلِيلٍ مَاكِرٍ عَيْنُهُ تَرَانِي وَقَلْبُهُ يَرْعَانِي. And from a close, intimate friend. I seek refuge in you from a close, intimate friend that is plotting against me. مِنْ خَلِيلٍ مَاكِرٍ عَيْنُهُ تَرَانِي وَقَلْبُهُ يَرْعَانِي. That his eyes see me, but his heart is looking and anticipating my downfall, my shortcomings. You hear what I said, everyone? And from a friend that sees me, but his heart is anticipating my demise. He's waiting for me to fail, and he's looking for my what? My shortcomings. And just capitalizing on it. Bang, got a point on him. Bang, got a point on him. Bang, got a point on him. Bang, got a point. Got another point. You understand, everyone? And we know this is not from Islam to be like this. Because know for sure, as much as you're counting the faults of a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is following up your shortcomings. Because that's an authentic hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we know. وَمَنْ تَتَبَّعَ عَوْرَةَ أَخِيهِ وَمَنْ تَتَبَّعَ عَوْرَةَ أَخِيهِ تَتَبَّعَ اللَّهُ عَوْرَةَ وَمَنْ تَتَبَّعَ اللَّهُ عَوْرَةَ يَفْضَحُ اللَّهُ وَلَوْ فِي جَوْفِ رَحْلِهِ. And whoever follows up the shortcomings of his brother, Allah is going to follow up his shortcomings or her shortcomings. And Allah, who he follows up their shortcomings, Allah will expose them even if it's in the saddle of their rider beast. And you'll find in the meaning of the hadith, meaning even if it's in the private of your own home or what have you. You'll be exposed some type of way. So it's not from the religion that you anticipate one's shortcomings, blemishes, for whoever it is, whether it be your wife for the husband or the husband for the wife. This is not how we're supposed to be. And the Prophet ﷺ in his narration sought refuge in this type of behavior, or from a person dealing with you in this type of way. Where he said, min khalilin makir, aynuhu tarani wa qalbuhu yar'ani, fa in ra'a hasanatan dafanaha, wa in ra'a sayyi'atan adha'aha. If they see some good from me, they bury it. Meaning they act as if it doesn't exist. You have no good. And if they see something of a fault in me or something evil, they spread it. They anticipate it, waiting for it, write it down, register it. And when they have the opportunity and the right time comes, I'm spreading it to everyone. Prophet ﷺ, see how complete the religion is in this narration? There's never been a history, everyone. Like I said, this is the reason why I said this topic is vast. A lot of people don't know this topic is very vast. If you study it. And I have just began to scratch the surface of information. You'll find during the course of history, there's never been people that move forward except there had to be a leader who knew. There had to have been the person who was the leader to lead, and there had to have been people around him supporting him to let it go forward. There's never been a time. From the greatest of what we see is in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ was the greatest of people. Who did he have? The greatest of men around him to what? Let it go forward. And even from the past, the same thing. Even after the Messenger of Allah ﷺ died, you'll find that the mujaddidun, for those who are the revivers of the religion, that allowed for the knowledge of the Kitab and Sunnah to be revived, meaning the people to come back to practicing it again, not being meaning that the religion became tainted or the religion became lost. That's not the meaning. The meaning of it is that they inspired the people, or they encouraged the people to return to what was correct, except that you'll find that they always had a person who was knowledgeable, and he always had either a mu'az al-qawi, what they call the person who was supporting their da'wah, yatabanna da'watahu, that he adopted his da'wah, or students that were around him that learned that knowledge, and then they spread it amongst the people. That is in a course of history, no matter how you look at it. For a person whose legacy has to live on, if they want it, if it's of good, meaning of people practicing the sunnah, he has to have good people around him in order for his da'wah to progress and for it to spread. That's in the history, no matter where and who, which time it is. However, we know during the time of Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, as you'll find that the great Imam, Sheikh Muhammad Aman al-Jami, the great Imam of our days and times, the great Imam, Sheikh Muhammad Aman al-Jami, he said, there's never been a course in history except that in order for one's call to go forward, except he had to have an alim and a mu'azir qawi. He had to have a scholar who was well grounded in knowledge, study at the hands of the ulama. he had the proper qualifications, he had the proper credentials, and he had the leader of that particular land who Allah gave him support and adopted his da'wah to let it go forward. He said Imam Ahmed did not have that. Imam Ahmed, he was the alim of his time. Imam Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, without no doubt. Imam Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he had the students, but he did not have the Mu'az al-Qawi. He did not have the ruler, because the ruler was the one that made enmity with him. The ruler made enmity with Imam Ahmed. And they're the ones that tortured him. Right or wrong, everyone? As far as the three khulafa that first came before al-Mutawakkil, there was Mu'tasim, there was Wathiq, Ahsant, and it was Ma'moon. You got me thrown off for a minute. It was Ma'moon, Wathiq, Mu'tasim. They're the ones that what? Gave Imam Ahmed and made enmity with him. Mutawakkil came, stopped the fitna. The point of the matter is, brothers and sisters, that the mu'azir, who was his sahib, the companion that he had for his da'wah to go forward, had to be a person to give him support in order for his da'wah to go forward. Imam Ahmed did not have that. Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, what they say, at-Tajdeed al-Thani, the second revival, he did not have that either. He had students around him, had multiple students around him, but he did not have the support of the ruler. The ruler was under the influence of the Sufis, who persuaded and aroused the ruler against Shaykh al-Islam. That's why the majority of the time that he spent was in prison. That's why he was sent to different prisons all over different places, everywhere, constantly. Being in prison, why? Because the ruler what? Was affected. The ruler made enmity with him. That's why he was constantly in prison. So he did not have that Mu'az al-Qawi. He did not have that ruler supporting his da'wah. All of those tajdeedat, the revival of what you see what happened with Imam Ahmed, also with Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, all gather in one tajdeed, which was in the third of what you will find Ahl Ilm called, which was the tajdeed of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah. So the third tajdeed, the third revival benefited from the first, the second, and it all gathered in the what? The third. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed the Mu'az al-Qawi, who was his sahib, who was his companion, to come and to what? Adopt his da'wah. And that's, you'll find the reason why, to these days and times, to this very moment, we are still under the positive, great influence of all the tajdeedat that have all gathered with the Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah. You'll find that we are the ones that are now seeing the fruits of it. Well, you'll find that all of our masajid, Kitab al-Tawheed is being taught. Usul al-Thalatha is being taught. You'll find the brothers from the University of Medina have coming back in order to disseminate proper knowledge to the people and guide their communities. All that's from the da'wah of all those different reviveries, starting from Imam Ahmed, Shaykh al-Islam, and they all gathered with Shaykh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, who his Mu'az al-Qawi was Muhammad bin Saud. Is it clear what I'm saying so far, everyone? This topic is very, 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 very broad. And I didn't even start yet. I truly didn't. So far, we're talking about that our companionship starts with our wife or the wife with the husband. That's where it starts from. A lot of people are just seeing my friend who I hang around with. It does not start there at all. It starts with who you select as your spouse. You have to be very selective, very tedious of who you have to scrutinize, who's going to be your spouse. Because that person in your home is going to have an effect or an impact on you. Brothers and sisters, know for sure, there's never been a great man over the course of history, except know for sure in his household, he had a great woman. I don't care who it is. Starting from the prophets and the messengers. The Prophet ﷺ, the greatest man that lived on this earth, had the greatest women backing him. Starting from Khadija, a tremendous woman. And all of the women of the Prophet ﷺ were not ordinary women. They were strong, strong women. And they aided him in being who he was, alayhi salatu wasalam. There's never been a course in history you'll find of a man that was great except he had a great woman behind him. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? And I've talked to students of knowledge here in this country. Alhamdulillah, a lot of the students, their wives are having good rapport and relationships. And you'll find that they are strong women who are supporting these brothers and supporting these du'at so they can do what they do. And they are holding them down. Trust me. Brothers and students have told me stories from everyone you can think of. I'm not going to say their names because I'm not going to put them out there. Well, I mean, it's a good thing. But at any rate, have they said to me that exactly if it wasn't for that woman, I would have got my magister. I wouldn't be able to go to Medina. I would not have moved forward. Then you have the opposite of the effect. I've seen brothers who fail out because of a woman. Majority of the people that failed out of the University of Medina was woman related. Majority of the brothers who failed and flunked out of the universities and stopped being students of knowledge was all woman related, if not majority of the cases. Maybe it was a couple small ones that wasn't, but for most, it was woman related. Woman was stressing them out in the house, couldn't focus, always talking about, I want this, I want that, it's my time, it's my right, it's this, it's that. Not knowing the fact that this man is doing something special for the whole ummah. Not realizing, not being what? Really comprehending that this man is doing something tremendous and honorable. Not comprehending. All they see is me in my world. Man, you don't have to do that much studying, man. SubhanAllah. All you'll do is study. And then they flunks out. This is a lesson to everyone, brothers and sisters, because I've experienced it. Like I said, the brother who's you're looking at in front of, I'm not exempt. I've made bad decisions in my life. I have. But you have to grow up and start making better ones. And I'm speaking to you real. This is what happens. This is what's taking place. Brothers and sisters, we all focus on the aspect of physical. No doubt, physical is very important to who we select as our spouse. And I'm not ruling that out. But you have to also look what type of mental you got to get into their minds. And I'm not talking about the mind game of trying to make a man fall into you before the marriage. I'm not talking about that type of mind game. And I have to say it because the sisters know what I'm talking about. Trying to make a man fall in love with you before the marriage because you know physically you might not be his cup of tea. I ain't talking about that. And I'm going to say it what it is. I'm talking about marrying this man and really getting to his head and his mind. What type of how he thinks. So you can be a person to make him a better person. And men need to do that with their women. Get into their minds. And if you find that she really doesn't comprehend well, and you know that this woman, eventually this woman's going to be the mother of your children, and she might pass that same type of toxicity on to her children, to your children, then you need to also reevaluate the situation. Calling us all out. All of us. So these are the affairs in which I'm speaking about now. The Prophet ﷺ had great women behind him, supporting him. Every person you'll find, every man great, had great women behind him, supporting him. As far as now regards to our friends, which I'll speak. Oh, what time is it, Isha? Oh, I gotta stop. I had more information. I had way more information. I can't. It's too late. We got to stop because it's a Isha. Sisters know exactly what I'm talking about because they know what goes on, and men know what goes on. Brothers in here know exactly what I'm talking about, especially with sisters that try to play this, make men fall in love with them. Sisters that and all this texting and all this other nonsense. Brothers and sisters, to a certain extent, yes. But don't try to now make these men mentally fall in love with you until after the marriage you'll find that he doesn't really like you. Then your feelings will be hurt on the night of the marriage when you find that he'll find you that he's not his cup of tea. And I'm just calling it out. And and this is two things I'm going to leave off with this. Brothers and sisters, if you find out she removes her overgarment on the night of marriage, look at her and just tell her straight up. And like I said, I'm not exempt from this. Tell her straight up as a man, if her feelings get hurt, oh well. Sister, I can't. You're not my type. I can't. I'm saying it what it is. Whether it is, sister, well, how didn't you know? But sister, what was I supposed to do to sit down? You wouldn't let me see nothing. What was I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? You gonna make my heart love you? I can't. You gonna make my heart attracted to you? I can't. That's life. We have to swallow the pill sometimes. It is what it is. And tell the sister, I can't. And brothers, these brothers out here that are listening, y'all need to control your private parts. Don't do it. If you know she's not your type, don't do it. It's better for you to leave her off if she's a little upset on the night of marriage because you found out that's not physically what you want. Then you get her pregnant with a child and it'd be a whole nother other ball game of fitna. And on top of that, you got to leave out saying, oh, man, well, you consummate. Yeah, you have to have that over your head too now. Because that's what she's going to play against you. You consummated, you consummate. It's the truth. And tell her what it is. If she didn't want to show you when to sit down, she wanted to give you little peeks here and peeks there. All right, sister, I'm going to let you know. Since you want to give me little peeks and don't want me to see you, all right. On the sit down, when the night of the marriage, if I see you and I don't like you, we just gonna call it quits. That's it. Since you want to give me little peeks here and there. It's the truth. What else are we gonna do then? I'm asking. What you want them to do? So we can start saving these relationships and saving these marriages. Since you want to be in a sit down, show me taking this off here and putting this down here and doing all that. All right, sis, on the night of marriage, if I don't like you, I'm going to just say it. We're just going to call it quits, all right? Or else, what is a man going to do? All right? Jay, there's other things we wanted to talk about. I wanted to speak about as regards to minhaj. And what I wanted to speak about was regards to the aqwal and the shurut of Ahl Sunnah. Because that's something I really wanted to talk about. And I had a lot of information in regards to that. So inshallah, we'll stop here because like I said, it's a lot. I wanted to talk more. I had more information. But something came up that happened with the sister. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure her. Huh? I can't hear you. No, it's fiqh is going on. Mustatiya. طيب, we'll stop here. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.